Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. And this is from somebody. Morrow Fiction, I guess? I know you can't see that very clearly. I don't think you can. I can't. So, somebody in the comments of one of my videos, unfortunately, I don't remember who it was, and I don't remember which video it was on, asked me if I had read this. I had not, and I was looking for something new to read, so I owned it. I actually have a number of these pulp covers that came out for Neil Gaiman's books. I can tell you what they were, because they're right over there, but there's something in front of it. I know it's American Gods is one, Anansi Boys is one. I feel like Stardust and Neverwhere, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I love how they did these sort of pulp-looking covers. They're really, really cool, in my opinion. So, The Ocean at the End of the Lane. What you have is this middle-aged guy who has gone back to his hometown for a funeral. And after the services and everything, but before he goes to his sister's house for the reception, or the wake, whatever you'd call it, he's driving around, and he ends up driving out to this old farmhouse where he had a friend when he was a kid. And he sits down on this bench in front of this pond that his friend called the ocean. And then he tells us the story of what happened there when he was 7 years old. So as a 7-year-old, he had a sister, had his mom and dad. They lived in this nice rural community on a farm of their own. They were doing pretty well, and but they lost their money. They weren't so well off anymore, so they started letting out one of the rooms. The kid, the boy, our narrator, had to move into his sister's room, and they were renting his room. One of the people who rented it ends up committing suicide, and this leads to all of the major events of this story. But at the time, is that when he goes and meets his friend? I feel like he takes off up the lane. Anyway, he meets this 11-year-old girl, Letty Hempstock, and they become friends. She lives with her mother and her grandmother, and she shows him the pond and keeps telling him it's the ocean. She came from across the ocean. And she and her mother and grandmother are a little odd, a little mythical maybe. And then some weird things start happening. I don't want to go into detail, as always. Some weird things start happening. They were all triggered by this event, this suicide. And it puts the kid... I don't even remember what the hell his name is. And I just read this a couple weeks ago. But anyway, it puts the kid in danger, and Letty and her mother and grandmother have to save him. And so the whole thing is being told by the adult guy as he's sitting on this bench, remembering the events of what had happened. I'm not sure what to say about this. I mean, it's Neil Gaiman. I love Neil Gaiman's stuff. I believe the first thing I ever read by him was Good Omens, before I knew who he was. It just sounded like an interesting book. I had never heard of the Sandman comic, or if I had, I absolutely hadn't read it yet. Loved Good Omens, then started reading Sandman, then started picking up his short stories and his books, and I mean, he's a master storyteller. And this story is, I mean, it's. I feel like if I didn't know it was Neil Gaiman, that I would be able to tell it was Neil Gaiman. He's that kind of writer. He's got that style. Plus, it's the themes in it. You have, there's magic and there's mystery and there's other worlds and mythology. And he writes wonderful characters. The writing itself is smooth. It flows. It's lyrical. It's He's just a master craftsman. I don't know what I can tell you. If you're not familiar with Neil Gaiman, shame on you. No, that's a horrible thing to say, isn't it? Not everybody's going to be a fan of this type of stuff, so I understand if you haven't read Neil Gaiman. He is a fantastic writer. If you're into the fantastical, the mythological, and just great characters, great writing, I think you should pick up his stuff. A great place to start is, I believe it's Smoke and Mirrors is the name of the first short story collection. Yeah, Smoke and Mirrors. That's the first short story collection I picked up. So that's a good place to start. You can get a feel for what he does in some nice short pieces. But, Good Omens, absolutely hilarious. I say the second funniest book I've ever read after Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So that's not a bad place to start. He co-wrote it with Terry Pratchett. But, any of the Neil Gaiman that I've read is fantastic. And so, I'm supposed to be talking about this one, but again, I'm not sure what else to say. It's a relatively short book. It's only a couple hundred pages. 241 pages. I don't want to give anything away because I think you should read it and find out the mystery and the mythology and everything for yourself. If you're already a Neil Gaiman fan and you haven't read it, if you're like me and you put it off for too long, I recommend it. You're missing out if you haven't read this one. It's just great, typical great Neil Gaiman. If you're not familiar with the author, and you're not adverse to reading I don't know if it's really coming of age, because 7's pretty young to come of age, but he does learn some life lessons. If you like coming of age stories, if you're interested in reading something with a little mystery, a little magic, a little mythology, the 3 M's, I recommend it. If you're a hardcore horror fan, this isn't going to be the book for you. Or a hardcore science fiction fan, hardcore mystery fan. But if you're open, I say give it a try. I gave it 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. Probably would have been 4.5 if you could give half stars. It is Neil Gaiman. It's great. It didn't blow me away. It's tough with the 5-star system, for me anyway, on Goodreads to accurately rate, because 5 stars is as high as you can go. So that's got to be saved. For me, that's got to be saved for the stuff that blows me away. This is fantastic, but it didn't just blow my mind. So 4.5, we'll say. That makes sense? You with me? I really wish they would change to like a 10-star system and you could give half stars. They should do that just for me. Let's start a petition. All right, anyway, that's The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I love that cover. I guess that's my review. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. And what else do I say at the end of these things? If you want to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram is EricSmith5757. That's ERIKSMITH 5757. On Instagram, I post pictures of books, comics, board games, and fuzzy animals. And did I mention the new background? I don't remember if I did, because this is the second video I'm recording this evening. But I just decided to mix things up. So I pulled out a different chair, which is higher than the chair I normally sit in, which is why the camera's pushed back further, which is why you see more of me. But I wanted to just show off how truly geeky I am. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions about what you see behind me, let me know. And I'll probably eventually, maybe next weekend, show a different wall. Next time I record after that, show a different wall. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. Let me know if that's something that would interest you. Eventually, I'm going to get back to my nice comfy chair and my Marvel Zombies quilt as the background. But that's it. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.